now entering the Horror Sanctum.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John and Kellen. Hello, and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John and Kellen. Hello, and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John and Kellen. That was kind of odd. Almost like we're stuck in a time loop. Like, what's the movie? Until Dawn. Apparently, we're a time loop podcast now. We'll have to do a Groundhog's Day episode just to stay on course. But you probably already figured out based on my background, my shirt, that opening. Today, we're going to be talking about 2017's Happy Death Day, directed by Christopher Landon. I think he was involved with Scream back in the day. I'm sure John knows a little bit more about that than me. This is a movie you should be familiar with. There's already been a sequel. There's been talks of a third one for some time now, but we don't need it, right? So anyways, if you're unfamiliar, a college student must relive the day of her murder over and over again in a loop that will end only when she discovers her killer's true identity. And as always, spoilers.
So the first spoiler is I like this movie. I'm going to go ahead and get out there in the beginning and just go ahead and say that so we can try to do my suspense thing where but yeah, Happy Death Day, 2017, hour and 36 minutes, 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which if you're keeping score at home, any movie we do like this in this genre, anything over 60%, I think is considered a good score for this kind of horror film, especially a slasher like this, especially a movie where the person getting killed is kind of just the same person the whole movie. I mean, there's a couple of other kills in it, but it's pretty much her. But that's where the charm in this movie is she's great. She does a fantastic job of making you hate her early. She does a great job of making you wonder who might be the actual killer. I think the reveal of the killer, quote unquote killer, being the escaped inmate, I think that was done really well. It's one of the best red herrings in recent history of who the real killer is. I mean, obviously, when you watch it, you know that it's not going to be him, right? We know that he's not going to be the killer. But it is a good kind of a diversion. On second watch, so I've seen this movie twice. First time I watched it, I had no idea who the killer was going to be. She just did such a good job of just being a dick to everybody that when it's revealed, it's like, oh. The second time I watched it, I'm like, this is super obvious. The second time you watch it, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. And that's my only knock on this whole film. Well, there's two. I'll get to the second one here in a second. But the biggest knock is that's the weakest reason for her to want to kill her. She's been a dick to everybody. She's been rude, mean, selfish, self-absorbed, all these things. And the reason she wants to kill her is because the doctor who's married is sleeping with her and doesn't want her roommate. Like, that's, to me, that's a pretty weak reason to want to kill somebody. If she had gone through a whole monologue about, you always treat me like crap, and that ended up being like the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, and then you knew that I liked him and you went after him, and like it should have been bigger than that. That's the only real disappointment, is as mean spirited, mean girl as she was this whole film. You find out the whole reason that her roommate wants to kill her is because she's sleeping with a married doctor that she wishes that she could be sleeping with.
It's like pettiness, college girl sorority pettiness, right?
Yeah, but it's still such a weak. You're gonna release a known serial killer to kill your roommate because she's shagging the doctor.
I actually thought that it would be kind of good if she kind of had a crush on the serial killer. And I haven't seen this in a few years. I'm like, maybe she did, but I don't think they don't really play on that besides the one point where she puts the mask on and kisses him, but she's kissing that mask. I'm like, maybe she kind of formed a relationship working in this hospital to that inmate and like, hey, help me kill this girl. But no,
they play it where it's such a short time. Like, he hasn't been there long enough for her to have developed anything, and they didn't. They could have played on that. That would have made more sense on why he would specifically go after her. Because they don't really give you a whole bunch of reason. Like, she's not like showing a picture and she's like, I'll let you go if you kill this. She's like, puts the mask on and kisses, which let's get the other elephant out of the room. That mask is stupid. I'm sorry. It's not scary. It's too goofy adorable to be creepy. And it's too
It's like a
G-rated to be
baby.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fuck that in a dark alley. Nah.
No, I still would be like, as I'm getting stabbed, I'd be like, of course, this is how I die.
You're adorable, Al.
I mean, that's the only other knock on this movie is that mask was a terrible decision. If it wasn't as round faced, moon faced as it is, if it didn't have the little like junior one giant tooth in the middle, baby Huey kind of thing, if it had been, I don't even know how you could have made that creepier. But that's not the point of this movie. It's not to be creepy. It's like you said, it's Groundhog's Day for her. It's and my knock on Until Dawn, I'd completely forgot about this movie until I watched it. I was like, all of my knocks on Until Dawn, this did right. Like this did where she returns day after day, and it's not like there's a ticking. I mean, there's a little insinuation that she's feeling it over time, all the damage, but it's just reliving the day. Like there's no up after the 13th time you become a monster or after whatever. No, it's like she doesn't know when the end date is. She doesn't know what to do to end it. She even thinks after she stops the killer that she's getting out of the loop, and then she wakes up again. I also thought it was funny that the guy that she ends up liking in the movie, and I can't remember his name right now, Carter. She only said it 40 times.
You mean Team U Jack Quaid?
Yeah. I like that there wasn't any twist with him. It's good storytelling. It's not great storytelling, but it's good storytelling. It has a compelling reason for her to want to be better, right? Like she realizes through him because of his way of looking at her. Like he doesn't see her as this evil person, right? And so it's kind of one. It's the incentive, just like Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day with Andy McDowell. It's his incentive to be a better person, which is what gets him out of the loop. She gets out of the loop by solving murder, but in the meantime, she realizes I'm a terrible person. Like I can understand why somebody wants to kill me. I'm not good people. And he kind of helps her get out of that. And then I liked the ending where, she wakes up, everything's the same. And he's like, I'm just messing with you. like I thought that was good. But yeah, this movie, the kills in it are fun. I even like the one she hangs herself to reset the day because she doesn't want Carter to go away. When she gets stabbed and she looks at him and she's just like, ugh, she falls over dead. It's just a charming, fun slasher film. And we talked about it before. There's movies that kind of can introduce you into the horror genre. This would be another great one to introduce somebody younger in, because it's not over the top brutal. It's not over the top sexual. It's just a fun, doesn't take itself too seriously slasher movie. And in that kind of movie, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want it to take itself too seriously. I don't want it to feel like it's trying to be a Picasso in an art gallery. I want it to be what it is. It's a slasher. It's fun. It's quirky. It doesn't have to make perfect sense. It just has to entertain you. And that's what this movie does. Start to finish, this movie is just entertaining. I've never seen Happy Death Day to You, but after watching this and revisiting it, I kind of want to watch it now. I read the synopsis on it just a little bit to kind of get an idea, because it's like, is she still in it? Yes, she's in that. Carter's in it.
The Asian
it's a different
kid plays
premise.
a bigger part. The Asian kid that keeps coming in.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different premise, but the same kind of idea. But yeah,
am I the only one that's seen it? Sorry, am I the only one that's seen it? John, you kind of acted like you hadn't seen it either. Oh, shocked. I'm shocked.
Well, I guess we'll have to do an episode on it next Death Day. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. So yeah, that's my thoughts. John?
Yeah, I have not seen it either, surprisingly. I think that I might have seen like clips of it somewhere, but I just never got it. I know that it's totally... I know that it goes like a lot more sci-fi in the second one, so I haven't... I might watch it tonight. I'm not sure. I think this is definitely the best of the time travel, time loop slasher type films, where you have like Freaky, which is also Christopher Landon, and then you have Totally Killer, those type of things. I think this is the one that gets it the best. Now, I don't think it's the best time travel horror movie. I think that's Army of Darkness. I think that's got the. I mean, that's a different thing, but that's the time travel horror movie, right?
Quick question: has Kellen seen Freaky?
Have you seen it?
I say yes because you nodded when he said that.
I have seen
oh,
Freaky.
You had a tell there. I
It's
could
just
see
so,
it. But you haven't seen the other one he mentioned.
No, of
Totally
course
killing
not.
Kieran
Baby
and
steps,
Shipka.
okay, baby steps.
That one was fun. That one was fun. I
Yeah.
think it's an Amazon original. It was a fun one.
Yeah,
Take
that
her
one-
out of it, and I don't know, but
I didn't think that one was too bad. I think all of them have been okay. I think this one it just gets the details so much better. This is really the vein of Groundhog Day, how they use it through the movie, how the details of every day, how they repeat, how they make sure that every scene is exactly the same. I think that's pretty brilliant. The ringtone that she has is really horrible and obnoxious, but it is a nice. It's like their version of "I Got You, Babe" every time the day circles. So it kind of works. And honestly, a college girl would have that. That would totally be their
it
ringtone.
reminded me of Seinfeld when George. I don't know if he's unemployed at the time, but his ringer is like, or his voicemail is like, George is not home. He's like on the couch eating chips.
Yeah.
Like,
Believe it or not. Yeah. I like it though. I think the writing and the characters are good. The idea at that time, I think that was 2017. It hadn't been beaten into the ground yet. I think now it has, but you think about it, it's like that was before COVID. That was when horror movies were kind of just starting to come back popularity wise. I mean, it was really early. So I think they really hit something here. And, over the years, I've kind of realized how good it is because at the time I liked it, but I never thought a lot about it. And then over the years, I was like, wow, this was very, very good just because I think after this, so many people tried to do this idea. And in fact, Christopher Landon himself, he tried to recycle this idea a few times. And I know he wrote Hard Eyes, which I like Hard Eyes a lot too. It's got a lot of the same good writing and sort of humor and vibe to it as this movie. Which so I could see I could see that he wrote that. I didn't know that until earlier, but that makes sense he would write it. And I like that they did something different with her, where she's bitchy, she's not a nice girl, but it's not a daddy issues thing. It's her mom died. I thought that was cool. Like they didn't just do the stereotype. It would have been so easy just to do that stereotype, and I like that they did something different there. Um, Now the guy playing her
Yeah, and her
dad
dad wasn't a jerk. That was yeah. Not going to the stereotypes. It wasn't her. Yeah, she was just hurt.
yeah, and the only one of the only things about it that's silly, and it's just a nitpick, is the guy playing her dad. Um, there's like no way that would be her dad. That genetics, I mean, bless him. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like she's a pretty lady. There's no way that would be her dad. Like when you see them together, you're like, that's her dad?
yeah.
I almost forgot that was her dad. When I rewatched it, I thought it was someone else. And then I was like, oh wait, I think I mixed up the father in this movie with the father in another horror movie. And I was like, oh, that's her dad. Um, the revenge angle is played out. It's kind of typical, but I will say the first time you see it, like you don't, it's not obvious. You obviously see it after you rewatch it, but the first time you don't. It's not too obvious, and they do a pretty cool job of like making that interesting at the end. I definitely want to see the sequel. I mean, it's something that I keep going back to over and over again. And yeah, I mean, I really like the movie. I think it's just got it's kind of like that perfect blend of the comedy and the slasher and the writing. And there's one scene where I know when she's dying over and over, there's a scene where she gets hit with the bat and she falls and then she wakes up. I thought that was so cool the way they transitioned that scene. But overall, I don't have a lot of notes. I really enjoy it. It's one of those I'll probably go back to like every couple of years. So
What's wild is like my first note besides my ranking, which we'll get to later, is like this is what the line says word for word. I almost wasn't going to say it after Kellen, but it's such a simple and silly mask, but oh so terrifying. But obviously, we've established that Kellen does not agree with that. To me, there's something creepy about that. I actually have you on video saying you're scared of giant babies, and we will be releasing that video this week to prove that you are, in fact, scared of that mask. But, anyways, so I was looking at this while you guys were talking, zoning out, but no, it says includes alternate ending. has anyone seen the alternate ending? I haven't either, so I'm gonna have to do this. I also was looking at the back, and it's like from Blumhouse, who gave you Split, Get Out, and Whiplash. They did Whiplash with J.K. Simmons, one of my favorite movies of all time. That blew my mind. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So Tree is an awful person, right? She's pretty. She's an awful person. But they follow that time travel trope where they have to learn a lesson, and she certainly learns her lesson. I would like to think that if it had continued on longer, I think her internal injuries probably would have gotten the best of her. So I'm sure she did have some sort of an expiration date that they never really get back on. But what they also did there was they developed her so well, and I think the Until Dawn episode I mentioned that character development and dialogues, two of my most important things in movies. For me to really enjoy a movie, those things have to be, decent. And the development of her character was great. She gets a little smart assy, it gets to the point where she can like sprinklers, car alarm, and that's what a teenage college student would do, right? Like they're not just going to be like, mundane in all their interactions and all their reactions. So I liked the writing on her character. Even the boyfriend, like I said, the teen you Jack Quaid. He was Jack Quaid before we got Jack Quaid. He was a great character. The killer was played by Rob Mello, who I drove to Chattanooga to see at a con, him and Bai Ling at the same time. I was to Chattanooga and back in 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's true.
What, you went both ways? And
yes, it was the fastest trip I've ever been on in my life. I got up super early.
Wow, holy crap.
Yeah. Anyways, I met him. He was a super nice guy, but he really hasn't done a lot. And I'm sure he'll listen to this episode. He's kind of trashy. Like we were friends on Facebook, but I've actually recently unfollowed him because he's just like, he's an anti-Trumper, and that's fine. If that's you, that's great. But I don't need you to spit that every day and like to the extreme side of it. Not like, oh man, Trump, man, dumb again, but like, I fucking hate him. I hope he does, stuff like that. It got a little much. But he really hasn't done a lot. He returns for the sequel. The sequel isn't as good as most sequels are not, but it's still fun. It is a little bit more. I mean, it's kind of funny to say that a time travel sequel is more supernatural than the time travel original, but it is true. It gets a little bit more supernatural. The Asian guy is more prominent. But yeah, I probably haven't seen it in, gosh, 4 or 5 years. So I kind of forgot too. But when we have that opening and the cupcake, I'm like, okay. And who the killer is does become somewhat obvious after rewatch. But going back to him being in the hospital, the roommate's the one who puts the mask on him and kisses him on the forehead, right? That makes me think she has talked to him. Like, I'm going to let you go. And there's a scene where she comes to him, like I think it's the final fight between them. It may be the one where the boyfriend gets killed and she hangs herself, but he's like, I'm surprised you came here. Like he's acting like he knew her, right? So all that, I picked up on that watching it again. And I think whether they said it or not, I'll have to watch special features and see if they talk about it. But I think there was some contact with that killer and the roommate. I mean, there had to be, especially if she put the mask on him. She's like, when you wake up, you're going to be handcuffed. Here's your mask. Here's your knife. Go get her. So anyways, I like this movie a lot. I liked it a lot the first time. I liked it a lot the second time, third time today. Liked it a lot again. It is PG-13, so it's definitely a gateway horror movie. She walks around naked once, but you don't see anything because the camera angles and, it's just raunchy enough, I think, to get that PG rating. So it's definitely something you can sit down with the kids and watch. Time travel movies are my least favorite genre. Possibly my most hated subgenre. That and like pregnant.
Not nuns.
Anything with animals.
Catholic horror.
Right. Catholic horror is up there. That's what I consider like Rosemary's Baby and stuff, like where there's demonic babies involved or getting raped by a demon or the devil. That's probably my least favorite. But this is right up there just because, like you had kind of touched on, John, it has been played out so much now. When this came out, it hadn't really been played out. Like you could probably name off one, maybe two hands, the horror time travel movies, and most of them weren't great. I didn't notice who wrote this one, but the writing was fantastic. They did a great job. The direction was great. So overall, clearly, I love this movie. I mean, I'm wearing the damn shirt with the creepy baby mask on it. I used to have the baby mask, but I sold it sadly. So, anyways, like you guys, there's really not that much to touch on that we haven't already talked about, just because it is such a fun movie. I kind of was hoping we would all enjoy it. John, I kind of had a good read on. Kellen is always that wild card. Like, is he gonna like it? Is he not gonna like it? I kind of thought he would, so I'm glad he did. We'll definitely have to do a sequel at some point. What's funny is when this episode drops is TJ's birthday week, so everybody go wish TJ a happy birthday while we talk about Happy Death Day. I think this comes out on Monday. His birthday is Wednesday, I believe, according to my calendar. So, anyways, happy birthday, TJ. Sorry you're not here. We'll see you next time. So we'll go around, close up shop, give our rankings. I want to wait to hear you guys before I give my ranking, I think. So, Kellen, go ahead.
What a cop out. Yeah,
Fine.
giant vag.
Half. I gave it a 3.5. Is that your cop out?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy this film. I mean, y'all said it. It's kind of the premise is played to death, but when you're one of the original ones and you do it so well, that's why it gets played out, right? You come out swinging for the fences, and then everybody else wants a chance at a home run. But the acting's great, the writing's great. It doesn't spend a lot of time in wasted effort in different scenes. I mean, it does enough, and that was another knock on Until Dawn, is it just felt like there was some wasted scenes in there. This one just kind of gets into it. Like I said, other than the two issues that I had, that super adorable, not even remotely scary baby mask being the dumbest thing in the movie, and the weak excuse for wanting to murder your friend. I did love though that she's eat it, bitch, and shoves that cupcake in her mouth, and then kicks her out the window. Like, my only thought was, as somebody who had worked in construction, is she would have wrecked her trying to swing from that light in real life. That would have snapped out of the ceiling before she even got a chance to swing on it. As soon as she'd have jumped up and grabbed, she'd have just flat on her back, knocked the wind out of her, and she'd just been gasping for air on the ground while that girl spit cupcake in her mouth. but other than little things, this is a fun movie, and for me, it's an easy 3.5. I almost lean towards a 4. But I'm so much harsher with my ratings, and I'm looking at the few movies that I still own, and I can see some 4s, and they're not in that level. So yeah, 3.5.
Just for fun, point out one 4-star movie you have over there.
Gremlins.
Fair. All right, that was a cop out right there. That's a 5 for me.
I'm literally staring right at it.
All right, John.
Christopher Landon. I was kind of sad when he got taken off of Scream 7. I know this would have been kind of cool to see him, because I feel like he has a lot of those sensibilities. I don't know if maybe it would have been too much comedy. It's so hard to say, but he definitely has a good balance between understanding the genre but having good writing and humor. Although I'm psyched about Kevin Williamson doing it. I think that's cool. I know there's Scream haters. I don't care. I love Scream. I'll always love Scream, so I don't care. Yeah, this is a 4-star movie for me. I know it's a high rating, but I just think this is pretty much almost a perfect comedy slasher. Like, I really would not do anything different in this movie, to be honest with you. And it's not fair to give it a 5, because I feel like that's like Jaws level stuff. But yeah, 4 stars. I really like it. So
that is more than fair. So technically, that puts us at a 3.6. We're gonna call it a 4, which, it's there, right? I was looking at the writer.
It didn't hurt my feelings.
It didn't hurt his feelings. Scott, this is the only movie the writer has written.
He's written a lot of comics and stuff.
Yeah, he's written for Marvel and DC. So he's like Uncanny X-Men, Generation X, Red Hood. So he knows how to write, clearly.
And no spoilers, but there's a controversy tab on his Wikipedia page, but I didn't click on it yet.
What?
Controversy. If we had Wikipedia pages, there would be controversy tabs on ours as well, right?
Mine would say hates Asian. I'd be like, damn it, John, edited my wiki page again.
Wiki doesn't tell you who edited it, just edits it, right?
Yeah, you can't. I don't think Wiki, I'm sure, can see.
It would be funnier. You write them a letter like, who did this? John Crisp. I knew it.
That'd be me.
All right, so that puts us at a 4 for Happy Death Day, which I think is a fair rating because, like we all said, like we all agreed on, The Mask was terrifying. All right, that's it for this episode. He didn't even hear me say that.
What? That's all right. I was reading the controversy, and it's not even a controversy. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Of course, it's not.
Made a
It's not.
stupid comment about, so it wasn't even like mean.
Like what? Like about hating Asians, like someone else has done recently. He doesn't. Sorry, guys. I said.
You know how much made in China stuff I have in my room right now.
There's a song called Made in China from Silicon Valley. It's fantastic. You should check out. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it's like, since we all agreed on one thing about this movie, and is that The Mask was terrifying. And anyways, that's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We have an Amazon Music playlist that I update weekly. And it's not a lot, but there's a pretty good amount of followers on that playlist. So if you're one of those followers, I do add music early. So if you look at it now, some of the newer songs on there kind of tells you what episodes we're going to be doing coming up. So, and we'll join our Facebook group because no one talks in that damn thing except me, John, and TJ. So, all right, signing off. I'm Jay with John and Kellen. And until next time, keep it spooky.
You guys!
Oh, God.
What a twist!
What a twist!
What a twist.